Hello, I'm making a little video here about hooking up a 4-prong receptacle for a dryer. And we know that it's a dryer because if we look over here at the box that all these wires go in, you see that one on top there. Let me point it out to you. That one right there has got a little L-like in it. On a stove, you can tell the difference between a washer and a stove because this thing here will be flat, straight down that way. It will not have that little crook in it. So that's the way you tell the difference between a washer and a dryer. Now, if we take a look at the prongs over here, we can see, and I'm going to point this out to you. Lucky, hand me that pencil there. So I don't have to use my fat finger, we can point this out to you. That right there is one leg of the 220. The one on the other side over here is another leg of the 220. If you take a look at the receptacles down here, or where you hook up the wires, this right here is for the common on the 220. And the reason why you can tell that is it goes underneath this and it goes over to there, to that plug. So you got one leg of the 220, another leg of the 220, and you've got the common for the 220. This wire right here, where it's got the green on it, let me see if I can get it right there. That's the ground, the safety ground for the entire system. And that is, use these 4-prong plugs on a 4-prong circuit breaker box. Now, the way you can tell that this right here is the ground, it's got that green on it for one thing, but it's also got this little prong here in the middle. And if you turn this thing over and you take a look at it, you'll see that little prong right there in the middle, that little dot right there, or maybe right there where actually where the wires plug into is hooked to the box. So that one right there, the green one, let me see if I can get up here on it. The green one goes right here, and that goes all the way through that box and hooks into this metal. So that makes it common with this metal. So that right there is your safety ground. So we know what we're doing here. We've got one leg of the 220, another leg of the 220, and then we got the common over here for the 220. And then right here we got the safety ground. Now over here on the wires, if you take a look on the wires, we got a red wire, we got a white wire, and we've got I believe that is a green wire there, and right here we got a black wire. So in order to know where these wires hook up, what we got to do is we got to go to the breaker box, and we got to see on these wires here, which run back to the breaker box, we got to see how they're hooked up on the breaker box. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we could get it hooked up wrong. It could get one leg of the 220 hooked up to the safety ground and one leg of the 220 hooked up to the common, which not supposed to be. So to hook it up correctly, we really need to go back to the box and see where all these wires are hooked up. Now, what we've got here, over here, if you take a look, we've got a little notebook and we've got the wires written down there. So we're going to go back to the breaker box and we're going to take and see where all them wires for the dryer here. This is an electric dryer. We see, going to label all them wires as to what they're hooked up to. So let's go back there and do that now, and then we'll finish this thing up. Okay, folks, we're back here at the breaker box, and right up here at the top, you'll see clothes dryer. And so, Lucky, I want you to write this down. Okay. The black is one of the 220 legs. The red is one of the 220 legs. Okay?
All right.
So we need to figure out where the other two are. So if we take a look at the wire coming in up here, we see that right up there it is. Okay? And we can see that the ground and we can see that one wire goes over to the ground here. It's been stripped all the way up to there. Looks like it may be black, I'm not sure. But the other one, the white one that comes off there, you can see the white one comes off up there and it goes down with all these other white wires here and hooked into the common. So the white is the common. And so the other wire is the actual safety ground that's hooked in over here on this bus. And once again, that right in there where all them wires hooked to is a bus. And this right over here where all them white wires are hooked into, you can see it kind of, you can see that silver thing in there with all them screws on it. That's called a bus too. And the reason why they call it a bus, it's got all these little places down through there where you can hook wires onto. Just like a bus, you can get lots and lots of people on a bus. On this thing here, you can get lots and lots of wires hooked up to that bus. So it's kind of a name you can associate it with the bus. You've got lots and lots of people coming in. And this big copper wire coming in here, right here is where your main power comes in. And one of those is one leg of the 220, and the other one is the other leg of the 220, those two black ones. And then right here, this big copper wire, all braided together and everything, comes up in here, and that's the common. That's the 220 common. And over here, of course, on this other bus over here, you see that other bus? Got lots of places where you can hook up wires. And you see all the uncoated wires, copper wires going to that bus there. So that's the safety ground. And once again, this is a 4-wire breaker box. Some of the old breaker boxes are three-wire breaker boxes. They do not have this extra safety ground. And what happens on those 3-wire breaker boxes is at the breaker box itself, the common and the grounds are hooked together. At the breaker box. So you have your black wire on a regular plug. On a regular wall plug would go into the actual circuit breaker itself. As you can see, all them black wires going in there. The white wire would go on that bus right there. And there is no extra bus on the 3-wire system for the safety ground. So they hook in with the white wires right at the box. So that's one reason why they went to a 4-wire system instead of a 3-wire system, is because of safety purposes. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, please subscribe. Thanks.